week, we see the conclusion of the FTC versus Microsoft, a Switch game gets a big upgrade, and more. So let's just go ahead, together, as a people, and check it out! And welcome to another sensational Sunday. I'm Mike, and I'm here to kick it with you and talk about the gaming news. And speaking of kicking, soccer is a pretty popular sport. In fact, some would say it's one of the most popular sports in the world, which is why EA's FIFA games are some of the most popular sports games. Now, for context, FIFA chose not to renew their deal with EA, so the next game will be called FC 24, which will be coming to the Switch along with the other consoles like the previous games. But up until this point, anyone who played the Switch version of the game kind of got the short end of the stick. Basically, the FIFA games on Switch have been a re-release of FIFA 19 and didn't include one of the most popular modes, which is FIFA Ultimate Team, because the game was still being built on their older engine. Well, starting with FC 24, EA is finally moving the game to their Frostbite engine and bringing it to parity with the other versions of the game, including adding Ultimate Team. Now, I don't really play sports games, but those previous Switch ports sound like they were probably trash. It reminds me of when they did like the PS2 versions of Madden well after the PS3 came out, and they were releasing like lesser versions on that system just because the install base was huge and they knew it would still sell. This is kind of like that, but it's a little bit worse because the Switch is actually a current gen system, but it's not really uncommon because we've seen other companies make compromised versions of their games to run on the Switch. I'm looking at you, Square, with that streaming version of Kingdom Hearts. So at least Switch players will finally be able to play a fully featured EA soccer game. But you know what else is full of features? The Xbox, and they're looking to add a much needed feature to their systems. So on both the Xbox One and Series consoles, Microsoft is introducing a system-wide reporting feature. This will allow you to record a 60-second clip of a voice chat in any game and send it to the moderators to be reviewed. So basically that annoying person in the voice chat calling people obscene names, they can finally be recorded and reported directly to Microsoft, and this even works on 360 backwards compatible games. The clips that are recorded are only uploaded if you choose to upload them and will automatically be deleted in 24 hours if they're not uploaded. I think this is overall a great feature. While it won't prevent bad behavior altogether, it makes it easier for people to report this kind of behavior without relying on specific tools within the game or trying to record audio with their phone or some kind of external tool. I really hope this is something that gets adapted on other consoles as well. This will initially be available to people on the Xbox Insider program, and then it'll roll out to everyone in the future. While we're on the topic of Xbox, one of their services is leaving the testing phase. So we talked about this a while back, but Microsoft has been testing Game Pass family plans in Colombia and Ireland since around September of last year. Now, they're officially bringing the test to an end on August 15th. They're going to be offering the people that participated in the test a special Game Pass offer, and they basically said that they've learned a lot from their findings and plan to roll out a similar service worldwide in the future. So basically, we don't have any date of when this will roll out worldwide, but like I mentioned in the past, I'm one of those people that have been waiting for it. We still have 2 Game Pass subscriptions in the house, and I really like that to be 1. But you know who else won, as in WON1? That was a rough transition. Microsoft in their trial against the FTC. And that's what we're talking about today in our final story. So after a petty back and forth trial, which mostly involved Microsoft and Sony, to be honest, the judge reached his decision and basically sided with Microsoft. The FTC opposed the deal because they said it would create less competition in the gaming space, but the judge stated that they failed to prove that in their argument. Now, last time we talked about the FTC trial, it was mainly focused on the back and forth between Microsoft and Sony. Both companies were allowed to look at each other's internal documents from a certain period to support their arguments. It ended up being petty, and I had fun watching them make each other look bad. I was definitely here for it. But either way, none of the evidence that was presented against Microsoft made it appear that they weren't planning to keep Call of Duty multi-platform, which was the main argument that the FTC had. Also, in my opinion, and I've stated this before, the Call of Duty exclusivity argument was always stupid because yes, it's a popular game, but even if it became an Xbox exclusive, which it's not going to, it's probably not enough for the majority of people to give their PlayStation for an Xbox. I mean, the PS4 sold more than double the Xbox One last generation. It was basically just Sony trying to remain dominant in the console market, but with that verdict being rendered, Microsoft is now free to complete the purchase of Activision Blizzard by July 18th. The FTC did try to appeal the ruling, but the appeal has already been denied. So the only hurdle left now for the deal is the CMA in the UK, which after the ruling came down from the FTC, they basically said they're open to hearing what concessions Microsoft is willing to make to close this deal. The CMA initially blocked the deal because they thought it could give Microsoft an unfair advantage in the cloud gaming market because it's a new and upcoming market. Well, Microsoft already filed an appeal with the CMA, but the trial isn't set to take place until July 28th, which would obviously extend past the close of the deal, so Microsoft could be looking into some other options. Some analysts are suggesting that Microsoft and Activision may just sell off their cloud gaming division in the UK in order to close this deal. There are also some analysts that think that Microsoft's already made some kind of deal with the CMA to close this deal and then basically sort out their concerns later. Either way, with July 18th being a couple days from now, I guess we'll find out soon, because if they don't close the deal by the 18th, then Activision could walk away and they would basically owe them $3 billion, or Microsoft would basically have to pay to extend the deal. And as someone who's been following and reporting on this deal since it started, I don't really think it's gonna be a big change for consumers. You'll probably get benefits if you have Game Pass, and we'll get a Switch version of Call of Duty, as well as Call of Duty on several cloud gaming platforms, so there's actually going to be more options for gamers, at least when it comes to playing Call of Duty. My biggest concern about the deal overall has always been what the future looks like if Sony, Microsoft, and let's say Tencent buy up all the major publishers and studios. But that's the future. We don't know if any of that will happen anyway. I think in the short term, this deal is probably pretty beneficial for most consumers, and if they can get through the CMA hurdle, then everything will be good to go. And I'm jumping over this hurdle called the outro and bringing this video to a close, but let me know in the comments if you think this deal will actually close by Tuesday. Again, let me know down below, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified when I drop a video or a live stream. And always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.